Hello. Today is July 6th, 2026, and the time right now is 7:31 p.m. I wanted to make this video today right now to let everyone know that by now each and every single narrator in this trial against me has had their motive proven beyond a reasonable doubt to being exactly what I said it was, and proven beyond a reasonable doubt to being absolutely invalid, containing extreme envy and nothing else. So we started with law enforcement. In 2023, law enforcement were trying to narrate in my trial against me. And in 2023, basically what happened was law enforcement, they were running sex schemes and money fraud the entire year of 2023. And after I won my case on August 25th, 2023, basically what happened was law enforcement, I obviously asked to be able to study since I am a triple brain savant, and basically till that time it was just kind of like law enforcement would not let me study at all. And they were not letting me study. And basically what happened was I thought that after um, August 9, 2022, after I found out about my brain savant, I thought that maybe law enforcement just not letting me study, they just don't know about my brain savant. But after a while, obviously, it became obvious that they knew about my brain savant due to them having a brain scanner, despite me never telling a single person about it till after August 25th, 2023. Basically, the main reason were a lot of people, Miss Deb started advertising her daughter for marriage to me in mid-June 2023. I hadn't whispered to a single soul about my brain savant till after August 25th, 2023. So obviously, these people, law enforcement had a brain scanner because as soon as I came back home on July 1st, 2023, they gave me a list of girls to choose from. So basically, that is how I knew. But the thing about it is, law enforcement had an obvious invalid and corrupt motive against me since the entire year of 2023. Law enforcement were running money fraud and sex schemes. They would run unemployment disability fraud, which was obviously fraud since the person would go and file for disability, and as soon as he would get rejected, the next day he's suddenly walking again to go apply for unemployment. So obviously it's fraud. And we know for a fact that the money goes to law enforcement's friend, since that friend does not even live in this country, which means that law enforcement would have to all go meet with the person to wire transfer the money, give him the contact info, bank account numbers, and obviously that person who gets the money is the person in law enforcement who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me from my overseas pharmacy school as revenge for me trying to end his money for a very long time. So basically, law enforcement tried to fabricate a wedding incident against me after August 25th, 2023 by flashing me with severe potencies of mental torture drugs to every time a wedding was mentioned around me. This was after law enforcement did nothing the entire year except for run sex schemes and money fraud the entire year. And you know exactly how aggressively they were running their sex schemes with Uncle Joey at the funeral in November 2023. The phone conversation with my mother from Russia will tell you that my mother never let me go near Uncle Joey after I was a child, and that even when she was letting me go near him, it was only due to the force and necessity of a single mother. You could tell from her voice, her words, she knows nothing about an investigation or what the right or wrong answer is, and the facts and evidences will speak for itself when it will tell you that I have not seen Uncle Joey since I was a child. So the entire year of 2023, law enforcement were torturing me and trying to force me to help them and Uncle Joey run his sex scheme ads by me talking to Uncle Joey on the phone, and law enforcement put up Uncle Joey from Full House so that he would call me and he would pretend to be a really nice uncle, and then they would record the entire conversation and give it to a different woman and be like, oh, he's the uncle for the guy with the triple savant, and he's a really nice guy and you should sleep with him, basically. So they were running these sex scheme ads the entire year of 2023. Obviously, I didn't do it because my mother told me as a child never to go near him. And you know this for a fact since my mother said it herself when I was talking to her for my phone conversation from Russia. And the facts and evidences speak for themselves when they say that I really haven't seen him since I was a child. Well, they were trying to torture me to try to force me to do that all year 2023. And then law enforcement tried to get me to go to the funeral in November 2023. me knowing exactly why they wanted me to go, I didn't go. So basically, they got really angry, and then Uncle Joey's conversation with law enforcement was being listened to by literally the entire world, and foreign statesmen started quoting Uncle Joey to show their allegiance with law enforcement in the country. Law enforcement after August 25th, 2023, when I won my court case. Well, by the way, I have not seen Uncle Joey since I was a child. Law enforcement tried multiple times to do it, but I have not seen him since I was a child. That's what the facts and evidences will show you. Even after the November 2023 funeral, law enforcement tried to get me to meet him one time. Once again, I still didn't do it. I just went home. Yeah. So basically, law enforcement wanted to help him run a sex scheme ad using me. And so last time I met him was when I was a child, just like how my mother told me to do. And you know that from the phone conversation that I was having with her from Russia. And so basically, law enforcement after August 25th, 2023, tried to, after running a money fraud and sex scheme the entire year of 2023, law enforcement were trying to fabricate a false testimony against me based on a wedding incident. And I know this for a fact because they would flash me with severe potencies of mental torture drug every time a wedding would be mentioned around me. Well, by doing so, law enforcement basically confessed to a crime that they obviously committed and covered over. Since the entire year of 2023, they were running money fraud and sex schemes the entire year. So obviously they never investigated or prosecuted anything, which means that one of their BFFs must have had to do it, commit the crime, and they obviously covered over it, and they, in their hour of desperation, they told me about it to try to frame me for it. Well, instead, what they did was they told me about a crime that they themselves committed. And even in the end, I told them straight out that people like Assad would definitely be present and involved in the crime. I know this for a fact because Assad was present in every single setting. For me, poverty was a blessing in disguise. I could not go to weddings, and nor could I even meet with people, just like how my mother said when I was an 11-year-old child to law enforcement, that as soon as he becomes even slightly mentally mature, I would not let him anywhere outside of home anymore. But right now I'm a single mother, and I have a dependency due to which I have to leave him with anyone who would be willing to watch him. So basically, my mother said that again on February 15th at 8:30 p.m. without me telling her what the right answer was. She said it herself. So basically, yeah. And so law enforcement after August 25th, 2023, tried to frame me to inhibit me from being able to study using my brain savant powers, and they basically got caught because they confessed before trying to frame me. Even if they didn't confess, it was the obvious facts and evidences will show that I had nothing to do with it, while law enforcement not only covered over it, they helped whoever their BFFs were to commit the crime as well. And you can check the facts and evidences yourselves, and you will find that I'm telling the truth on this. It's not, you don't have to be a genius to know this one. So basically, law enforcement was removed from the narrator stand after that. And my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters came in. They lied a lot. First, it was just, my dad, the greedy framer, basically found out illegally through law enforcement about my brain savant. And he started calling me a lot in the year 2025. And in the start, I was really nice and polite towards him. And I would talk to him like any normal human being does. But obviously, after a while, you kind of realize what's going on, what the story behind the story is. And it was kind of clear and obvious that he found out about my brain savant, since he was never a nice guy. He never did anything for me, and he was trying to be exceptionally nice. And I got the message really quickly, and I obviously started ignoring his calls after that, because the guy whom I barely ever talk to once a year, obviously he doesn't even work with a college degree, and he wanted the money. He found out about the brain savant in 2025. And after I realized that he found out, I obviously started ignoring his calls, because you call me once a year, now you find out about my brain savant, now you want the money. And so that's not how it works. I was polite to him at first, but then I started ignoring his calls. He got the message really quickly because he's evil, and he knew that he never did anything to get the money anyways. So he got the message really quickly, and immediately afterwards in 2025, he just started asking law enforcement to start blackmailing me with him and his sister's things on my YouTube. Well, anyways, what ended up happening was, I really could not care less. I just ignored it. And basically I knew that he found out about the money and he wanted the money really bad. Law enforcement told him illegally. And so basically I just ignored him. And then what happened was June 28, 2025, I won my court case fair and square. And the next day I knew that I won my court case on June 28, 2025, because the next day, June 29th, law enforcement started sending me these ads that said Thrivent Bank, it's time to care, as in to say, give us some money. And also Remitly, the money transfer ads. The same guy who gets the money was asking for that one. Law enforcement over here asked for the Thrivent bank ad that basically says it's time to care, basically saying make a deal with us. So basically law enforcement wanted money. It's no secret. Even right now, they're so stubborn, they won't stop their money fraud. And I obviously said, no, I'm not stupid. I realized that I won my case, and that's the only reason they were asking me for money. Well, I said no. And the other person with them was my dad, the greedy framer, who was putting in father-son ads on there, like a father-son going to China. Yes, father-son ads all over my YouTube, and I couldn't care less. I just ignored both of them because obviously I realized that I won my case the night before. That's why they were all going crazy. Same dad, the greedy framer, who was making videos claiming that my brain savant should not get freed under any circumstances after June 28, 2025, was now begging the same person whom he was saying don't let his brain savant go at all. And now after June 28, 2025, he was begging me to talk to him. And he made a billion different excuses for it. But when you send person blackmail price tags, like I'll get to, all those excuses go down the drain. So basically that is what happened. Yeah, afterwards he tries to gain sympathy. Nowhere Special movie being put on my TV to try to make me think that to try to make me feel like, oh, there's some dad with cancer and the child and this and that. Like all these sympathy stories did not work with me. I only had one responsibility. That's my mother, and I'm not giving anyone any money. Obviously, November 1st, he tries again. I don't talk to him, and then he gets his sisters to make a false testimony against me on November 20th to make sure that no one could get the money that he obviously got the message he was not going to get. Now he got caught, and on December 29th at exactly 1:27 p.m. he gets caught. The reason I know the exact time is because at that time, obviously, he starts sending me money transfer ads. And immediately afterwards, he's sending me money transfer ads through law enforcement, thinking that I wouldn't know the obvious fact that he didn't have a change of heart where he just wanted an illegal assurance of money and wanted to leave me alone and let my brain savant free. No, obviously not. He's not going to do that. He doesn't think that I'm ever going to give him an equal share, quote unquote, and he's not getting a single penny. So basically, yeah. So basically, that is what happened. And then he, after December 29th, obviously December 29th, multiple times he was sending me money transfer ads to try to get money out of me, basically illegal assurance of money. He was hoping that I wouldn't know that he just got kicked out of the witness stand, which is why he was asking me on December 29, 2025 at 1:27 p.m. when in fact I knew that was obviously why, and that was the only reason that he would be asking me for money. Well, after that, he sends me father-son ads all day, night long, harasses me all day, night long. Basically, he finds out about my brain savant monetary potential for it, and he wants the money. Basically, my brain savant encompasses instantaneous photographic memory, focusing, and innovation. All three things are superhuman for me. They are superhuman when air jogging is lured, like as it happened for 6 hours on the flight on August 9, 2022, but those powers increase tenfold when you lure this air jogging and you let go of my ears, which are locked up right now. But on April 22nd, they were unlocked. These ears were all the way on the back of my head. So basically, the increased tenfold, so basically, air jogging removed is superhuman as it is. It gives me instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing. But the increased tenfold when you let go of my ears as well. And so basically, on April 22nd, 2025, my powers increase a lot more. Basically, yeah. And over time, the increase as well. So I could do 1,000 pages of a really dry textbook like medicinal chemistry, Aaron Ball, in less than a day. That's the kind of powers that I have. It's literally like I can prep for a board exam in less than a day. Those are the kind of powers that I have, and these powers increase over time as well. Basically, those are the kind of powers that I have. If you wish to verify it, and you are in the government, you've got August 9th, 2022. That's a 6-hour long brain savant test. Artificial intelligence report will tell you that. You've got April 22nd, 2025. My ears are removed and the powers are tested for it to increase on that day. A few weeks before April 22nd, 2025, you have innovation that was tested on my bed. They removed that part of my brain savant. And then you have June 5th, 2025, also proving that energy drinks increased my powers as well, since that day, kind of like April 22nd being like this and my ears being all the way on the back of my head. That day, it was like my brain savant was touching each other, and I was able to bypass all their torture tools around my ears that had my ears locked up, and I was able to reach my savant state of mind. Despite it not being like this, it was still touching and I still had my powers. Basically, yeah. So my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters basically are enviously were trying to lock up my brain savant in any way, shape, or form possible. That was what was going on. So basically, I found out about it. And yeah, I didn't have to be a genius. Well, anyways, they got caught over and over again. So even after November 20th, what happened was there was a government informant, but they didn't know. So they were, even after getting caught on the testimony stand, my dad, the greedy framer's framer sister, most likely was spokesperson's mother, since she holds extreme envy against me. And it could be either one of them, but obviously out of the 3 sisters, I think it would be her. She went and she fabricated the November 20th false testimony against me. And basically what happened was these people, when they were fabricating the November 20th false testimony against me, they gave everything away to the government informant. So they told the government informant, they're like, when we're done November 20th, we're going to fabricate more lies against him. And they obviously also told the government informant that that it was all due to extreme envy of my brain savant and the greed for its money. Well, it wasn't the greed for its money at that time, because they thought they would easily make a false testimony and then subsequent lies following it. And then there was no way that my brain savant could get freed after that. You see the panic and mass chaos after November 20th. No news anchor on CNN is able to smile on live TV for days after November 20th. I was in Moscow, Russia at the time. It was November 27th, 2025. And law enforcement were basically, what happened was November 27th, I turned on CNN and Governor Josh Green of Hawaii. It was just like, confusion is the enemy. We have to remove the confusion from here. He wasn't talking about the vaccine confusion, even though that's what he was sent to CNN to talk about. Basically, my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters created so much mass panic and chaos that when I said that I didn't commit the crime and that law enforcement is known for fabricating false testimonies from before, and that even before I went to Russia on November 20th, that law enforcement had pretty much given away that they were planning on fabricating another false testimony against me, since I told law enforcement about all the previous false testimonies that I knew about, and they panicked. And on YouTube, it said, "Don't you worry, child," as in they were scared that they might not be able to fabricate another false testimony, and they were just like, "Don't you worry, child, we'll think of something else." Meaning that they were planning on making another false testimony against me. So after basically November 20th, they didn't realize it, but they messed up on the testimony stand, so not being able to answer a question that was very simple in terms of the crime that they were accusing me of, letting everyone know that there was no way I could have committed that crime and that these people are basically lying. My dad, the greedy framer's sisters, mainly his spokesperson's mother. So basically, that is what happened. Now they get caught completely, and they still wish to keep trying. They're not going to let my brain savant free. Just think about it. Someone you know in your family, you grew up pretty well. You had a husband, all right job. He loses his job every now and then, but you've got a husband and he earns pretty well. I mean, he earns what, $6,000 to $7,000 a month, like normal human beings in this country make. And you've got some impoverished kid somewhere halfway across the country whose mother works at fast food restaurants, basically has almost nothing in life. I used to I remember in overseas pharmacy school, someone asked me one time, he's like, what was your childhood like? And I would told him I was so poor that my mother used to get me they just give me a free fried chicken at Popeyes every time my mother would go to get her paycheck every 2 weeks, and that was like the best meal I would have every 2 weeks, and that was like the best I could get. And so basically they see me and kind of life that I've had, and they get really envious, and they're like, this kid who's got absolutely nothing, we're not gonna let him become extremely rich when our kid wasn't able to do so. They become extremely envious. And if you don't believe me, just ask the government informant, and they will tell you that this was obviously the reason why they fabricated the false testimony against me on November 20th. So basically, my dad's greedy framer's sister fabricated the false testimony against me on November 20th, and she's continuously arguing, even after messing up on the testimony stand, that continuously arguing that she really did witness me commit the crime. She didn't know that was a government informant whom she was fabricating with. Well, anyways, right after she does that, what she does is she goes and she makes the subsequent lie. She's like, well, the November 20th, I did witness him commit, but except for that, I've got these other things that I also know he committed these major crimes. And she tells that to the court, like the spokesperson's mother does, and the courts just take it like, thanks for letting us know. The courts basically knew that these were lies and that these were planned lies, and that basically they were planning on lying more false testimonies against me even after November 20th. And basically it's just kind of like, you go to the tailor to get one pair of clothes done, and then you just remember another one. So she got a government informant to basically fabricate one false testimony for her, and she's like, well, wait, I want another thing made as well. And the government informant's like, yeah, go ahead, tell us, what is it? And she's like, I'm going to make more lies, and I want to know your opinion on it, and you tell me how to do it. And the government informant obviously, yeah, I'll tell you. Tell me what the lies are. And she basically tells the government informant not only November 20th that she was fabricating, she tells the government informant basically all the lies that she was planning on making against me, even after November 20th. And to try to see if the government informant could help her fabricate these and see what their opinion was on this. And the government informant basically says, thanks for letting me know. I'll definitely help you out with these lies as well. Well, so after November 20th, the spokesperson's mother and their framer siblings, basically my dad, the greedy framer, and all of them, basically what they do is they start with the subsequent lies that they had already planned out. Now, obviously, she wanted the government informant's opinion on these lies. So she's already arguing in court very aggressively that she really did witness me commit the November 20th false testimony crime, and now she's got subsequent lies that she already planned out before November 20th that she told the government informant about to try to see if what their opinion was and if they could help them out with this one as well. It's kind of like you go to the car mechanic shop and you're getting one thing fixed in your car, and then you suddenly remember another. You're like, well, if you're working on that, can I show you another one? And the car mechanic says, yeah, show me what's the other problem, And the government informant was just like that, and she was fabricating November 20th with the government informant, and she goes, well, I've got more lies that I'm going to make after November 20th. Can I tell you those? And the government informant obviously said, yeah, go right ahead, tell me. And she tells the government informant basically all the lies that she's going to make afterwards. So now they're caught in a bit of a limbo. When it's announced that there's a government informant that was involved, what she does is thinking that she's really cutting. Like, these people are extremely envious. They're not going to let me become extremely rich using my brain savant powers, and I told you what kind of powers they are, when their own kids are literally struggling in life, or poverty is like a blessing in disguise in this world. You know, you have the maturity to not do dumb things. Like, I would not even drink alcohol or do anything stupid like that. And obviously, people, normal household, people's kids do all kinds of stupid things. Well, anyways, yeah, anyways, not even going as far as like their dad even earns, and their dad literally just doesn't earn that much. Just works as a pharmacist, like how I have my college degree for, which I'm obviously going to put aside as soon as I get able to give my board exams. And their son is not even able to make that much. And yeah, so obviously, like, if they find out that artificial intelligence has told everyone that I'm supposed to be extremely rich, obviously they're going to be extremely envious of that fact. So basically what happens is she has subsequent lies, and she tells the government informant everything. Like, these are the lies I'm going to make after November 20th. What's your opinion on it? And the government informant's just like, yeah. So all of this goes through, and it's announced that there was a government informant that was involved. And being as envious as the spokesperson's mother was, she calls the government informant, who was basically fabricating the false testimony with her, and says, if it's not you, I'm not going to let it go. And the government informant's like, what? And she's like, if it's not you, who's the government informant, I'm not going to let it go. I'm just going to go to court, and I'm going to pretend like I really did witness him commit the crime. This is how envious this woman is. She would not let it go under any circumstances, despite knowing that she was lying completely and fabricating with the government informant. So basically, the government informant's not going to be like, it is me. So the government informant's like, I don't know who it is. And she's like, do you know who it is? And the government informant's like, I don't know who it is. Who knows who it is? And so the spokesperson's mother is like, okay, well, if it's not you, then I'm still going to court. And she, even after that point, she was going to court and arguing that she really did witness me commit the crime, and doing so very aggressively. Like, you guys don't know what you're doing. You need to listen to me. I did witness him commit the crime. The crime and setting did not exist. It was handed to them by the government itself. And that person whom she was continuously asking, are you the government informant? Because if you're not, then I'm not letting it go. That was the government informant. Soon afterwards, she obviously also realizes the other lies that she wanted the opinion on. Well, as soon as she realizes this, she kind of figures, like, the government informant, I told him that I was extremely envious of his brain savant money, and I could not watch him become extremely rich. So envy's gone. What's there going to be? Extreme greed. So basically, yeah, the spokesperson's mother, basically, as soon as she realizes who the government informant is, the fact that not only was she caught fabricating November 20th, but that she also told the government informant the subsequent lies that she was going to make with them. By the way, my dad, the greedy framer, knew about all of this. He was hearing about it from the phone. He knew about all the fabrication and everything, pretty much. So basically, what she does is, the extreme envy basically moves into what? You're extremely envious of someone becoming extremely rich. You get caught completely. There's no envy left. What do? It moves on to extreme greed, right? You want the money now. You weren't able to stop him from getting it, so now you want it for yourself. So March 9th, 2026 at 5:02 a.m. Then again, same day, March 9th, 2026, 6:55 a.m. Then again, March 9th, 2026, 12:02 p.m. She sends me a picture of a woman through law enforcement resembling her daughter. Like, go with my daughter, give me some illegal assurances of money. Obviously, I just put it on record, like, proof that these people were all about money. And so then after that, it's April 12th, 2026, 1:37 a.m. Sent a picture of a girl resembling her daughter again. So basically, as soon as she's got caught, this is what she does. So basically, yeah. And then what she does is she sends me, after they were basically caught. So around February 10th, they were basically caught. And February 10th, they're told by the courts, my dad, the greedy framer, is told, like, look, I don't know if you know this, but we kind of know. that this is a lie. They didn't say how they knew, but they just said that. And my dad, the greedy framer, obviously he freaks out. He goes into a panic, like, oh, you know? How do you know? And like, obviously, like that entire night, February 11th, after February 10th, he's messaging me frantically at 12:22 a.m. That's 22 minutes past midnight. The message reads, "So nice to hear from you after so long." And then my baby name, Babuji. And it's just kind of like, it's like, "So nice to hear from you after so long." The entire day of February 10th, the only hearing we were having was in court, where I was telling the court that this man is a frantic maniac, and he's only after the money that he's found out about because he can't see my mother happy, and he's not going to let my mother with all that brain savant money that he's been told by law enforcement about. And he's lying over and over again. And what he was saying was, "I don't even believe in this brain savant thing. I don't believe in its money potential. I don't think he even has a brain savant, and this and that. I don't believe in artificial intelligence." February 11th, all night long, the psychopath is messaging me with all these things. February 11th, 12:22 a.m., message reads, "So nice to hear from you after so long, Babuji." And then 3:17 a.m., February 11th, that same night, porn star's picture with his sister Farah's name on it, basically asking me to commit incest with his sister in exchange for illegal assurances of money. Then 3:56 a.m., that same night, February 11th, a picture of a woman resembling his other sister, the spokesperson's mother, not looking anything like her, but I knew what he was trying to try. He wanted me to commit incest with his sisters in exchange for illegal assurances of money, since now he saw that too many lies were caught, and this was the only option left. Now, he could claim that I wasn't, and no one said that that was incest or anything. He sent me a porn star's picture that night with his sister's Farah's name on it at 3:17 a.m. on February 11th. He was told that night that sending a picture of a porn star with your sister's name on it, sir, is an open advertisement for incest. He was already told this on February 11th at 3:17 a.m. And yet, on March 7th, 2026, he sends me that same picture of the porn star named Sunny Leone with his sister's name on it again, even though he was told on February 11th, you're not supposed to send porn stars pictures with your sister's name on it to your son. And March 7th at 10:41 a.m., that same porn star's picture with that same sister's name on it. March 7th, 2026, 11:06 a.m., same thing. Porn star's picture with his sister's name on it. March 7th at 2:07 p.m., same thing. So basically, yeah, it was greed, and we know this for a fact that it had shifted onto greed from extreme envy, since there was also blackmail price tags that were sent to me. The most common one was $60 million that they wanted illegal assurance of. Sent to me at least 8 times. You got to look at the time when it actually starts. It starts on February 21st. You got to remember, February 10th, they're told. So it just, snowball effect. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. They're like, we're running out of time before his brain savant's free. You can't blackmail a person when there's no fear left for him to get blackmailed with. You can figure out what you want and tell me what you want. So yeah, basically money is what they wanted, okay? And the most common one was $60 million. Sent to me 8 times. Illegal assurance of it. February 21st, 8:18 p.m. February 22nd, 8:42 p.m. February 22nd, 11:11 p.m. February 24th, 7:58 a.m. February 25th, 11:32 p.m. February 26th, 5:41 a.m. February 26th, 5:44 a.m. February 26th, 5:56 a.m. At least 8 times I was sent this illegal assurance of $60 million that a spokesperson's mother and Farah the Greedy Framer were basically sending me. So these people were all based on lies and fabrications, and they all just wanted illegal assurance of money if they weren't able to lock it up, so my mother could not get any of the brain savant money. We also know this for a fact because recently Farah the Greedy Framer has been she's been narrating in the trial against me, claiming that I'm a bad person and this and that, and my brain savant should not get freed. Well, at the same time, she's also advertising her daughter to me. So she did this on March 9th. She did it again on April 9th, 2026 at 2:27 p.m. and April 9th, 2026 at 2:47 p.m. And so the ads for her daughter started again recently. June 16th, 10:56 p.m. That's this June 16th. June that just passed by, 2026, last month. Today's July 6th. So this is June 16th, 10:56 p.m., June 16th, 11:51 p.m., June 17th, 12:16 a.m., June 18th, 8:07 p.m., June 19th, 12:58 p.m., June 22nd, 3:12 p.m., June 20th, 3:13 p.m., June 24th, 2:03 p.m., June 27th, 1:47 p.m., June 27th, 1:52 p.m., June 28th, 12:16 a.m., June 28th, 3:26 a.m., June 29th at 2 a.m., June 29th at 9:50 p.m., and then you have July 3rd, which is 3 days ago. That was 9:18 p.m. on July 3rd. 15 times in the last 2 weeks alone. July 3rd, 3 days ago was the last time. Basically, these people are, now that they weren't able to enviously lock up my brain savant, basically wanted money. If it's going to get free, then we're going to take the money. Mainly because all their talking points have all been caught as being complete and total lies. So they'll take talking points from law enforcement and try to use that against me. Yeah. And while they're trying to do that, they're also going to claim that they're also going to basically blackmail me to try to marry their daughter. And this isn't exactly marriage. Basically, the contract is going to say something like, if you ever divorce my daughter, you're going to have to give me this much money, like the $60 million that they sent me all throughout the month of February and March, at least 8 times, starting February 21st. You got to remember, February 10th, the court informs them, we know you're lying. February 21st, the $60 million starts, because it's a snowball effect. It's like, it's accumulating. Like, you're running out of time quickly. What do you want? And then they get together. They're like, we want $60 million from him. And they sent me this blackmail price tag for $60 million, illegal assurance of it, since that's all they could get in exchange for no longer making false testimonies and fabrications against me. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I told law enforcement to tell them, like, yeah, no. They're only doing this out of desperation because they're caught with lies, and now the only option that they have is to send me blackmail price tags because they're already seen as being guilty by the courts. And so now they're sending me blackmail price tags. The only thing that these stupid, desperate people don't realize is when you're sending blackmail price tags through law enforcement, you're looking even more guilty doing so. And you're increasing the amount of evidence against you after it's already been found out that you were lying and fabricating completely against me in front of a government informant, watching and witnessing everything. Now you're increasing more evidence against yourselves by blackmailing me with these price tags of money, only because you revealed to the government informant that everything you were doing was due to extreme envy of the artificial intelligence reports on my brain savant, and now that extreme envy has shifted over to extreme greed, due to which you're sending me blackmail price tags. But what these stupid people don't realize in their hour of desperation of not seeing any other way out but trying to get illegal assurance of money is, for one, they revealed to me that the only reason they were asking me for money was because they were caught completely. Obviously, no one told me that there was a government informant that they confessed to about the subsequent lies that they were going to make, but it was obvious. The way they were blackmailing me for money, it was obvious. They not only did they fabricate November 20th, they told the government informant the entire story, their entire story from childhood. Like, what I mean by that is, we're going to make more lies against him, we're envious of his brain savant, why does he become extremely rich? Why did artificial intelligence have to mark his brain savant as extremely rich? Why couldn't it be my child? Blah, blah, blah. All the story, everything just cries out to the government informant. Lucky for me. Well, yeah, if you're blackmailing me with price tags of money, you obviously confess to everything, including greed and envy for my brain savant money. And you also confess to the subsequent lies that you made after November 20th. I'm not stupid. I told law enforcement straight out, I'm not going to pay a single penny. Tell them right back the increased evidence against themselves after completely lying against me in court over and over again, even after November 20th, by sending me these blackmail price tags of money. And I told law enforcement right there and then, I was like, I'm not going to give them a single penny. You go tell them that now. And so, yeah. So now Fire the Greedy Framer was basically sending me these basically blackmail forced marriage requests for her daughter, like 15 times in the last 2 weeks, with the last time being July 3rd, 2026 at 9:18 p.m. These are not marriage requests for her daughter. They're basically signed contracts saying that, let's say the $60 million that they really want, the divorce agreement is going to say that if I ever let her daughter go, then I would owe them $60 million, due to which my brain savant gets freed. And let's say I signed that contract and let her daughter go. Well, yes, I let her daughter go and my brain savant gets freed, but for the entire rest of my life, like how far the Greedy Framer is in court right now trying to argue against me, despite her being caught numerous times lying over and over again, she's still in court arguing against me. She's going to ruin my entire life arguing against me in court that he owes me $60 million, like the $60 million she sent me 8 times through law enforcement starting February 21st. And she's going to annoy me for the rest of my life saying he owes me $60 million because he wrote in the marriage contract that he owed my daughter $60 million and he divorced her and ran away. Well, that's not marriage to begin with. It's just forced marriage. And she's not the only scam artist who's running this, since it's also Miss Deb. Miss Deb, while arguing against me in court, is doing the exact same scam that Fur the Greedy Framer is running. You got to remember, Miss Deb's daughter is married. Let me repeat that for you so you understand this very well. Miss Deb's daughter, whom she's sending me these Ashley's Furniture ads, is married. And she's sending me ads for her daughter, who is married. So, I guess you could do the math yourself. Miss Deb's daughter is married. She only has one daughter named Ashley, and the ads are for Ashley's Furniture. Which means that these people are basically running a scam. And the divorce agreement is basically going to have amount of money on it, and they're going to annoy me for the rest of my life for it. And I said it on day one, like a month ago, Miss Deb's only here due to extreme envy. She was all over me in 2023 and 2024. And she's such good BFS with law enforcement that she was one of the only people in the US that found out about my brain savant, even though law enforcement, I don't think, told anyone till another 8 months after August 9, 2022. Because the woman that were trying to pay for my groceries at Walmart didn't show up till like April 2023. So I don't think law enforcement told anyone about the 6-hour-long August 9 test. August 9, 2022 test for another 8 months till April 2023. But Miss Deb, whose daughter is married, is also running the same scam Fire the Greedy Framer is running. Her daughter is married. She only has one daughter, and she's sending me ads for Ashley's Furniture. With the last ad coming for Miss Deb's daughter, by the way, came today. Today is July 6th. It came this morning at 5:18 a.m. So June 16th, 2026, first ad for Miss Daughter, 2:25 a.m. June 17th, 10:32 p.m., Ashley's Furniture ad. A girl basically looking over a mattress and it says Ashley in big letters on it. June 17th, 9:50 p.m. June 19th, 10:24 p.m. June 23rd, 9:39 p.m. June 27th, 7:54 p.m. By the way, this Ashley's Furniture ad by June 27th at 7:54 p.m. This is 2026, as in last month. It moves from a girl looking over a mattress to the girl literally laying on the mattress. Yeah. June 27th, 9:25 p.m. Also Ashley's Furniture ad. July 6th, this morning, 5:18 a.m. Yeah. Her daughter, by the way, is married. I can't stress that fact enough. So obviously she's running a scam. Basically, these people, like the $60 million blackmail price tag that Fire the Greedy Framer was sending me, these people want me to sign a contract that says if I divorce your daughter, then I owe you this much money. And Fire's favorite price is $60 million. So then after my brain savant gets freed, these people annoy me for the rest of my life for the amount of money that they want from me after my brain savant gets freed. Yeah, these are the kind of scams that these people are running in court every time they feel like my brain savant would get freed. And yeah, this morning, you got to remember that Miss Deb's ad has moved from June 27th with the Ashley's Furniture ad on June 27th at 9:25 p.m. to today, which is July 6th. And the reason is law enforcement. I wrote the Child Journal, and basically says that the last card law enforcement has, basically after all their false testimonies, like the wedding incident they tried to frame me for November 20th that they knew about and tried to get my dad, the greedy framer, and them make against me, is only going to be like that one of their own BFFs, like Uncle Joey, could have said something around me as a child that was considered bad. And I wrote the Child Journal this morning, which was supposed to be good. And so obviously Miss Deb found out about it, and she sent me an ad for her daughter immediately. July 6th, that is today, 5:18 a.m. this morning. You have to remember, Miss Deb's daughter is married. So she's basically going to kick out her son-in-law, force divorce him really quickly, and then get her daughter to come to marry me with a contract, basically saying that I owe her this much money in case I ever divorce her daughter. And then she's going to annoy the living heck out of me throughout my entire life for that money. So basically, these were the narrators that law enforcement had. Yeah. And then you also had Asad, whom I just named. Like, I was like, Asad was involved in everything as an adult in the crime, for the wedding crime, much more. If there was anything bad going on, he definitely knew about it, never reported the thing. And I was absolutely right. From the moment I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, like my mother told law enforcement when I was 11 years old, she said, right now I'm a single mother with a lot of dependency, but I promise you, as soon as he gains the slightest bit of mental maturity, and she said it when I was an 11-year-old child, she said, as soon as he gains the slightest bit of mental maturity, I will never let him out anywhere out of my sight ever again. And law enforcement basically agreed. They said, okay, we'll see if you keep your promise. Well, she did. And from the moment I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, I was never seen in any setting where anything even remotely considered bad could have been said around me. That's what the facts and evidences will show you. Law enforcement, on the other hand, did not keep their promise to their country, and they were running their sex schemes and money fraud from that time till today, right now, where everyone told law enforcement, like, law enforcement, you're not supposed to be running these money fraud, and we have got a court case going on. And I bet even right now they're running their money fraud. Even in 2023, when they wanted to frame me for this wedding incident, they were running their money fraud and sex schemes very aggressively, both of them. And so why did they try to frame me? Because they didn't want to see me, my brain savant, freed. By the way, this is locked up right now, but April 22nd, 2025, this was all the way on the back of my head. And my brain from the inside, instead of being like this, it was like this. And yeah, my brain savant, obviously, is completely locked up, air drugging and these tools around my head, just to make sure that I cannot study. And after August 25th, 2023, basically, I asked for my God-given right to be able to study. Everyone's born with the right to study. And yeah. And so law enforcement basically said, no, we're not going to let you, and we've got this crime against you. And I just said, well, I never had the money to go to this wedding, but thank you very much for letting me know about a crime that you committed. So when Asad showed up in the court to be able to narrate against me, first thing I said was, he's absolutely guilty of the wedding crime. He would not only be present there, he would be involved. And not only would he be involved, the entire wedding, he would be with the other people who committed the crime, the entire wedding, discussing with them the crime that they committed. I can guarantee you that much. And courts looked into it. They found out that I was telling the truth. And my record with me saying right now that poverty was a blessing in disguise, my mother kept her word. And as soon as I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity, all I did in life was work hard with my mother, and that's it. And that's what the facts and evidences show, and that's what the evidence proves, with law enforcement trying to fabricate one thing against me after another, and only to find out that these were all crimes that law enforcement committed by covering over it for the BFFs, the same people that they're running their sex schemes and money fraud with, and that their sex scheme started in 2001 with Uncle Joey's in-laws, due to which they have to run these sex schemes so aggressively at funerals in November 2023 and even afterwards. And even before then. But it's still, the last time I've seen Uncle Joey was when I was a child. My phone conversation with my mother from Russia will tell you that. And yeah, so they tried multiple times, but I never met him. Last time I met him was when I was a child, and my Uncle Joey was caught with an online dirty chat with a woman online. I'm not going to say any details because obviously the woman is someone we know. But yeah. So basically that was the last time I saw him. So you might wonder, well, what does law enforcement have against you? What law enforcement has against me is plain and simple. My brain savant is literally the most rare and profitable brain savant in the world. It encompasses instantaneous photographic memory, focusing, and innovation. Every single time there is a girl that is trying to follow me around, or a lot of women know about it, only because of law enforcement, by the way. I would never be stupid enough to tell anyone about my lottery ticket before I have even cashed it out. No one is that stupid. So who told them? Law enforcement did. Months before I did. First time I told anyone was August 25th, 2023. Never even whispered into anyone's ears before then, which is exactly why I know about their brain scanner, because something in my brain should not be known by anyone, and it was known by every girl in the city. So basically, every time law enforcement gets envious of these girls following me around, they basically start running their mouths. They'll be like, scam artists, this and that. Last time they did this was around October, and I told them in October 2025, I was like, look, you guys look like you're losing your case pretty bad. Well, when you lose and you're forced to let my brain savant go, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, I'm going to buy the Caesar machine. I'm going to buy textbooks from Amazon, convert it to PDF, and then return it right back. And then what I'm going to do right afterwards is I'm going to obviously study them. And it's not going to take me long with my instantaneous photographic memory, which you know about from artificial intelligence. I'll be done with a textbook in a day, easy. And since innovation is also part of my brain savant, along with focusing basically means I don't have to take breaks. But focusing also means that I could literally like crush my other parts of my brain for like desire and stuff. So like, if like, let's say law enforcement even increases my hormones through air drug while I'm studying, I could literally crush it like people crush like a can of Coke or something. It won't affect me at all. As long as I have my focusing brain savant powers. It's literally like a robot, like focusing does. You don't have to take any breaks throughout the entire day, not even for like a second, due to focusing being a superpower as well, encompassing my brain savant. So basically, yeah. And so that is pretty much what happened. And so, yeah, they just use drugs on me right now to make me forget what I was about to say. Yeah. So